Claudia.
Nema niko da će to ostavljati.
Mi ćemo staviti OK, pa ćemo vas sam... Znači...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom. My name is Ilan Moore. I'm from the Embassy of Israel. I'm the ambassador. I'm now currently in Israel, talking to you from the playroom of my grandchildren. And I'm very happy to host this meeting over the internet, webinar or Zoom meeting. And I'm very happy to see friends, my colleague from the Embassy of Herzegovina, and also Professor Bosanac, who is a good friend, by the way. Professor Bosanac was among the very first guests who visited me at the embassy exactly 2 years ago, when I've just arrived to Croatia. And a special welcome and a big thank you to Professor Anna Eller from the Tel Aviv University, who will give us the presentation regarding space and kids. You know, Israel has been established by dreamers. And if you don't dream, you don't have any targets to look for and to implement. And one of the dreams of the Jewish people was to establish a state of its own under the sun. And a dreamer by the name of Herzl, a visionary, had a vision and a plan, a political plan, and implemented it. And almost 70 years, 80 years after he started to dream, the state of Israel was established in 1948. Now, after we have our sovereign state, and after reaching the number of more than 9 million Israelis, we have time to devote to other dreams. And one dream is to conquer the space. We have been following the big game, the money time, the Ivy League game between the United States and the Soviet Union at the time, and then other countries, regarding conquering the world and exploring the possibilities of finding more life out there. We all remember the X-Files. The truth is out there, they said. But also Israel, as part of the Western community, civilization, has its own dream to be among the countries who reach to the moon. And we almost did it a couple of years ago, and now we are about to do it again. I have a lot of ideas how to involve youngsters from Israel and Croatia in pursuing this idea of conquering the space. And I would like Professor Heller and Professor Bosanac, both of them, to assist me in this. And this is why we are having this seminar, this meeting, which I hope will be the first one in a series of meetings, which will spread the word in Croatia that if you dream small, you will not reach it. You have to dream big. If you dream like this, you can make it. My closing sentence is, again, Herzl, who said that if you want it, a dream, it will not be. But if you don't want it, a dream, it will stay. It will remain. So, Professor Bosanac, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, with my great pleasure and my warm greetings to you, Mr. Ambassador, even more. And I really remember first days when we met I can sort of be very happy to say that I was among the first one that you met here in Croatia, and that really was great pleasure. Anyway, with Dr. Anna Heller, we met 2 years ago in Israel, and since then we were permanently in touch, and she's helping us with our projects. Now, Anna Heller is famous because she started what one would call new space in Israel. In other words, a direction of development in space that would that democratized itself. In other words, even youngsters should join in. As a result of this achievement of Anna, we had a project of young generation, and that was Bereshit 1, which was really great success, considering that it was done by a non-profit organization and involved much of it were young guys and girls. Now, the impact of this development, we hope to hear from Anna what was on socioeconomic factors of young ones, which is very, very important. And second, what I would say at the end, and that is, as you, Mr. Ambassador, said, that an upgrade of Bereshit 1 is being planned in Israel, and Bereshit 2, which is a little bit more challenging than the first one. And we really do hope that we in Croatia will participate in it, and for various reasons, but in particular that we somehow build closer ties between Israel and Croatia in space science and technology. And so with this, I would like perhaps to give word to Anna Heller.
Just before you do this, Professor Heller, just 1 second. Two things. Based upon the recommendation of Professor Bosanac, we established contact with the leading school, technical school in Sisak, in order to involve this school also in the space project. Unfortunately, I wanted to go to visit, but because of the earthquake and the corona, I couldn't come there. But the Friendship Association Croatia and Israel here in Croatia, or there in Croatia, has donated 30,000 kunas for the reconstruction of the school, the technical school of Sisak, which I think symbolizes the importance that we attach to the cooperation. And another thing is, I would like also to welcome the ambassador of North Macedonia, a good friend, who joined us also in this webinar. Now, Professor Heller, without further ado, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank you, Mr. Ilan Moran, the Ambassador of States of Israel, for this invitation. It's really an honor for me, and especially to my dear friend, Danko Slobodan. We are friends really 2 years already, isn't it? And we all the time we were keeping in contact. I am Anna from Israel. I am talking to you from my home. It's a little city at the north of Tel Aviv, 20 kilometers. And really, I'm looking forward to meet you in person, and I hope we are going to have the Brushini conference without any postponement anymore. And most especially, I want to meet the fantastic team of Peru One, that I really want to know them. So I will start, but allow me to share the screen so you can see some pictures. Let me see if you allow with me. No, you have to allow me to share my screen. Okay, so I can show my screen. Flamenca?
Flaminka.
אני שומעת,
Good.
דקה.
No problem. We have all the time. we are all everybody at home, isn't it? In fact, in Israel already opened the closure today, but everybody is keeping at home, taking care. Everybody is taking care of himself. So let me see if I can share my screen. Not yet. Not yet.
I'm calling. Just
now you have a share screen.
It's much easier to show you the
Now you
idea, the concepts with
Now you can do it.
pictures. Yes. So I can tell you about my work, how I see it, what I am doing, what I did, why I'm doing it. And maybe we can do it also in Croatia.
Will you be kind enough to try again to share the
I will
screen?
try. Let me see. Yes, got it. This is me, Ana Beatriz. Hello. I put here all my addresses if you want to keep in touch with me. I want to take out this. Okay. Okay. This is me, very young, very young. As you can see, original from Argentina. And I did my first degree in the School of Physics, the Geophysics and Astronomy at the La Plata University in Buenos Aires. And after my first degree, recently married, we did what we call in Hebrew, aliyah. We travel, my husband and me, to Israel. But let me be clear, I had a fantastic life in Argentina. I love Argentina. I keep in touch with all my friends. And I also collaborated very intensive with the Embassy of Argentina in Israel. So always trying to help my country, my second country, even from the distance. But as I say, we traveled to very young to Israel. And I'm sure you want to ask me why. Everybody asks why, and I don't want to leave you with the question. And the answer is that we wanted to help to build a home for our people. This was, and it is the reason. So I did my master's degree in the University of Tel Aviv in geophysics and planetary sciences. Later on, my doctorate in physics and astrophysics, and I did a lot of research in galaxies, quasars, and variable stars, but this is a story for another day. What I wanted to tell you is that it's something different. After many years in the university as the research, I went to work at the aerospace industry in Israel. I was part of the research team of the Aerospace satellite, commercial satellite. And by then, Israel was already known as a startup nation. Yeah, there is, for some reason, I don't know why, but we are good, very good in innovation. we are very good at it. And if you can see the numbers, there is more than 6,400 startups operating in Israel. It's something incredible. Everybody is opening startups. And we are number 6 in the Bloomberg Innovation Index. And really a lot of exits every day, every year from new companies that are making the exit and bring a lot of budget for the economy of Israel. Also, the space is part of the IT technology in Israel. And if you look at the numbers, it's incredible. Last year, 2020, it was about 500 billion euro, the world market. And in 20 years, it's expected to grow even more to 1 to 3 trillions a year. Of course, it's not only satellite, it's a lot of disciplines that are involved in this sector. And it's going up and up every day, every year. You can see that most of all is communication, and other sectors like research in astrophysics, all the others much less than the communication. The communication is taking today most of the market, and I'm sure you already heard about Amazon and SpaceX that are going to launch Amazon 3,000 satellites to space, low orbit, and SpaceX about 12,000 satellites to make internet free, allow it to every place in the planet. The space sector is growing and growing. One of the most rising sector at the moment is the remote sensing. A lot of things are benefit by this remote sensing technology, and weather forecasting, exploration, urban development. In fact, many things are being doing with remote sensing satellites. By the way, I have to tell you that one of the good ones, one of the engineers in Israel is one of my daughters. One of my 3 daughters is very good at the remote sensing technology, and she is making now her doctorate at the Tel Aviv University. Of course, in Israel, also military. We need the space because our security depends very much of the space. We need to be sure that our communication is continued, and this is also important to allow us to warning system and to be independent. We cannot allow to ourselves to depend of other countries to defend to our population. So this space is very important to Israel, not only for the economy, but also for the security. And you can see we are going to something in the future bigger and bigger and bigger, and we cannot stop the development. And we are already talking about formation flights, swarm of satellites, many satellites together. And maybe in the future, we are going to have a big telescope that is composed of very small satellites together, and we put it in the atmosphere, over the atmosphere. And even more, we are going to make this interstellar exploration, and we are going to the moon, and we are going to do tourism in the solar system. This is not science fiction, it's real, and it's very near real, because in a few years, about 50 years, more or less, the sources of the natural sources of our planet is going to be exhausted, and we are going to need to go outside to look for something to survive. So space is our future. We can see that today already the people that are working in Israel is in numbers is not too much, but for a country like us, it's really is a big number. You can see it's about 300,000 people, and it is 9.2% of the total labor force of Israel. And as much as I know, in Europe is 2%. So it's a lot of people in Israel that is working in high technology. High technology, not only space, I mean all high technology, yeah? So, and you see the numbers are going and going up and up and up, and 9.2%, and we see is increasing every year even more. And the demand is about 10% every year. And we don't have enough people to fill all the positions and all the necessity we have in high technology. If you see on the graph, today, the most that is required is the cyber, of course. Yeah, but many fields in high technology, we can see we don't have enough people. So that's a big problem. The second problem we have is that the women are not participating like a real force that we can use in full. It's only 30% of the women are working in high technology. Look at this graph here. We can see that the labor force in the civil market, women and men, is the same. But if we look at the graph to the left, in high technology, much less women are working than men. So something, we have a real problem. We are losing a big potential in the working force. Also, we don't have the woman in the roles of leaders. Okay, look at this. Only about 18% are in the leader positions. We are not there. We are always second and third and not enough. This is one of the reasons why with some of my friends, we opened what we call it the organization With Space, Women in Space. And this is the organization that what we want to do is to support the professional women that are already in high technology, and for some reason, they are not in the real position they have to be, or maybe they left their work because some possibly, generally, is family, children's. So we are working very hard in this organization to bring back and to put the woman also at the same level of the men. These are my friends in the With Space. Let's take a look what happened in Europa. In Croatia, I can see you are not so bad. You are here. It's not so bad at all. It's good number. I am very happy with this number. Israel is here. It's about 30%. So that means in this field, we are in bad position in Israel, but we are working on it. But this is another story. The question is really now, and this is what I want to enter now, is what we do to prepare the next generation of engineers and scientists for the future. And then I'm going to build a real society that have gender balance. And then I'm going to give all the necessary force to the market, to the country to grow in economy. So what everybody think is education is good. Yeah, it's good, but education in early age It's okay because children get curious and start to know STEM disciplines in mathematics. It's the beginning. Yes, it's okay. But are we going to get the results from this age of people? Not at all. I think it's not effective at all. It's good, of course we have to do it, but it's not the solution. It's not the solution. This is, as I say, it's okay. Arouse curiosity, wake up imagination, increase children's interest in STEM. But I came with another idea, and a crazy idea. And you know, we in Israel, we are very explosive in ideas. But when you mix the Israeli with the Latinian, it's even more explosive. So I came with this, with a crazy idea, and this is the reason why I got this national award as a national teacher, entrepreneurial teacher in 2004. And the idea that I started was youth space. It's space for the youth, for the children, for the young, not children, for the young. And I said, you can build a satellite already from age 18. It's not too early. And this was a crazy idea at that time, because children's, not at all. How can they build satellites at that age? Not at all. And it was a difficult task. It took many years to get the support for this idea. And I started it because I feel that with space I can teach a lot of things. It's multidisciplinary, and I have also innovation, and I can bring also boys and also girls, and they are the future. The space is of the young for the young. They are the future. We need to focus all our effort to the young generation. What age? And this is, I think, the age that we have to focus. This is what I did. This is what I'm doing. And I'll tell you now, the results were excellent. Children, young, you can see 16 is rather young, to 18, even less. And then what happened at that age is when people want to decide what is going to be their life. And they generally want to be something different, and some kind of revolution, and something different. And this is when you enter and tell them about space, the new dimension, and you teach them how to look to the stars, to improve themselves, and to look everything different, and to dream. But most of all, you teach them how to make their dreams true. Not just to dream, but how to make their dream true. And they, in fact, this is what happened in Israel, is the leaders now in the sector of space sector. And it's incredible. So the concept that I used is the CubeSat. Everybody knows about it. It's affordable.
Sorry, we cannot hear you.
You cannot hear me? Now?
What happened?
שומעים.
Okay.
Abika, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. CubeSat
Flamika,
is
Can
I can hear.
I can hear.
can you hear me?
we hear you, yes?
But I cannot hear you, so the problem is mine.
Yeah.
Okay, Professor Heller, please go on.
The concept of CubeSat is well known.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, yes, fantastic. And it was the beginning of this idea of CubeSat And some universities in the United States started to use it. And I said, why not to do something with them, with CubeSat, that cheaper, very cheaper, relatively, and to use it in my project, to build a satellite with the young people. So just to remind you what is a CubeSat is very small. Is divided by units, and the smaller unit is 1 kilo. Okay, and in this, the size is 10 by 10 by 10 centimeter. Very, very small. This is 1 unit, but you can build them in 2 units, 3 units. This is nano satellite. We call nano satellite to 10 kilos. Okay. So let's go back to the project. So the target are people from 15 to 18. The tool to use CubeSat. Now you have to create the idea what to do. And I said, let's do a national project. Let's create a challenge. And you are going to be the pioneers, the leaders of this idea, and you are going to work as a team. Now, pay attention that I didn't go to many students. I chose to work with a small number, because my idea is that excellence expands to numbers. This is exactly what's happening in Israel. You start with small, with excellent, and then they bring the numbers and expand. So the success was very big, and the result was that also the girls, because space talk to the girls, it's romantic. We like romantic, we like mysterious. So also the girls want to be in space projects. And the methodology is learned by working. This is well known. The age of the student is very critical, as I told you. And you have to choose a project that is affordable by creating a challenge. This is what I did in Israel. At the end, the result was the first space laboratory for the young. And here you can see the ground station at the back with a clean room where we made the parts to assemble the satellite, and the laboratory here. And this is different teams along the years. You can see here the ground station of the satellite is for radioamateur. It has to be frequencies of radioamateur, so everybody can get the signal, sorry. And this is the ground station with the antennas. And this was the last thing of that first satellite, DukiFat-1. Here you can see the part of this DukiFat-1 inside the clean room. And here I'm working with some of my students. And this is, in fact, DukiFat-1, the first Israeli nano satellite. It was the first Israeli nano satellite, and was the second in the world that was built by young students. And we lost the first position just because 4 months, because the launch, we were ready, but the launch was postponed because bureaucratical problems. And so we lost the first position. That was the first satellite was launched by a school of Virginia, by the NASA, of course, the Americans. But we were the first in Israel, the first in Europe, and the second in the world. And this is DukiFat-1. DukiFat-1, I just want to tell you, DukiFat is the name of the national bird of Israel. As it was selected.
As if we don't know it. Hupo.
Hupo, you know what? When later, let me remind I tell you a story, okay? Because there is a story around it. And Dukefat was selected because it's small, it's beautiful, and also have something like the antennas similar to a satellite. And this is the mission, the Dukefat. Here you can see the bird, the national bird of Israel. Dukefat 1 was the name of our first satellite. And this is us from Russia, the day of the launch in 2014. And the Russians allowed me to take only a few children, you can see here. And interesting that the same day was launched a satellite from Argentina. Very nice, very nice. It was a day that you can see 33 satellites were launched together from a launch site from Russia. And here we are in the launch site, Yavne, at the end of the war. And here we were. And this is our second satellite. Dukefat 2, a little bigger. And this one was launched 2017. And here, Ilan, is the story I wanted to tell you. When I went to Brussels to explain about this project, because this project is part of the program of the European Union, a program called it QB50. I mean cubes. He said everything is cube, you see, and 50 satellites. This is the project, okay? And the European Union said, you build a satellite, we launch it for you. So I took the idea, I said, I'm going to do it. And they call us, they call all the universities of the world to come and explain, because many proposed to come, about 70,000 universities around the world wanted to be part of the QB50. So I traveled to Brussels with my idea. I was the last to enter to the commission and explained what I want to do. And they loved it a lot, but they said, we don't like the name. Dukefat is not nice. As I said, well, but in English it's Upo. They say Upo is okay. So this is the story I wanted to tell you. They didn't like the name Dukefat, but Upo, yes. So they agree. At the end of the meeting, I said, now I have to tell you that my engineers are children very young, from age 15 to 18. They couldn't believe it. In fact, Dukefat 2, the only Israel satellite in the QB50 project, and was the only satellite built by students. All the other satellites were built by famous universities. After Dukefat 2 came, of course, Dukefat 3. I was not already there, but that time I had some problems, personal problems, I have to leave. But this is Dukefat 3, was launched in 2019. Well, I can show you here the people. We have here a picture of the advanced group, because the program, starts in 15 and at 18, so the students are 3 years in this program. And this is the advanced group, and here the junior groups, and here you can see the study group, smaller and smaller and smaller. Here, what I can show you is, I think I don't have many time, isn't it? So maybe I will do it faster now. I can see here is a picture of our test. it's not important. And another test, you have to do a lot of tests, thermal control and vibration of the satellites, but I will not enter at this here. What I want to show you is this. I'm sorry, it's in Hebrew, yeah? But this is the launch of Dukifat 1. Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear.
So this was the launch. I don't know if you want to see this part, because it's maybe a little. How long I have to continue? If you have time, I can continue. Okay. So this is in the launch site. We are in the bunker, and you can hear the Russian. You can see here the satellite. Where is going? I was there with the children. Yeah, I am. This is our. When I don't want to lie, I was crying all the time, of course. And the result of all this project in Israel was a big success, and a lot of projects are going on now. Many students are in their different degrees in the university, and many startups companies. We have 3 satellite launches, and this I took an example to see what happened with the first group of students, with the first 30 students of the group. And I have here the numbers. 2 didn't study at all. 10 students did their first degree in the university. 15 students did their master's degree in this university, and 3 students their PhD degrees. So it's a big success. More than that, all of you talking about the Barashit. Barashit was an initiative of one of my students. I think the professor, you already talked with him, Jonathan Weinrod, and was with another 2 boys started this idea, the lunar lander, was launched in 2019, and it's going to be a second one. But this is a famous one. This is a famous one. I think it's not the most important. It is the most famous, but I think this one, also from one of my students, this is very, very important, I think, because they are already 2 boys decided to work together, 2 of my boys, and open a company, the Helios company. And what they are doing, they are finding a way to convert this lunar soil into mineral and fuel for the minerals for construction of the moon, and the fuel for the rockets that have to come back to the Earth. So you don't need to bring with you to the moon all your fuel. You can produce it in the moon to go back to Earth. This is, I think, a fantastic project, and is supported by the Ministry of Science in Israel. Again, one of my students, and I'm very proud of it.
Who is the
Here
student?
you have the numbers. I don't pretend to be the one that solved all the problem in Israel, but for sure I make a big contribution. And we can see that in Israel, the number of students that enroll to high-tech disciplines is increasing fantastic numbers. For example, today was an increase of 25% in comparison to 2011, and is expected to increase even more, 55% by next year. So we are doing very, very good. Also, the numbers of boys and girls that enroll in high technology is well balanced today in Israel. Now, what I want to tell you is another project, because my mission in Israel is finished. I did it, as I told you, I went for the excellence, and now I left my heritage and they are doing the work. So my work now is different. My work is to expand the concept of use space to the world. And I am doing it now in Spain. And this was an initiative of the Embassy of Israel in Spain. And when she came to me, Rodica Gordon, the ambassador, immediately agreed to take the responsibility for this project. And I am going to do exactly the same thing that I did in Israel. And the first satellite is going to be a 2U satellite. We already have possible name. This is the idea. The first group is in Madrid, in a school that is called Las Musas, and is supported, of course, by the Ministry of Science and the Municipality of Madrid, and most of all by the Ministry of Foreign Policy Exterior of Israel. And this is what I'm calling now U-Space Madrid. Problem is that we have Corona, so we do everything by Zoom, like everybody. And this is my first group in Madrid. You can see part of the students working by Zoom. Here I am with a model of satellite. I have it here with me. And part of the students from the school itself. It's exactly the same program that I did in Israel. There is no reason to change it because the results were very good. So you can see here, this is, again, a lot of girls. And sure, we are just at the very beginning, but we're advancing very fast. And the idea is to invite another group from the País Vasco, the city of Bilbao. And when this is consolidated, we want to expand it to another country and to another country and to another country. And the idea is again 3 years, where you have the definition of the organization and everything that is involved in the project. Now, I will stop here. I wrote it because I don't know if you understand enough what I mean by this sentence, because for me, the satellite is not the important thing. The important of all these projects are the students. I mean, we use the satellites just a way to form the new generation of students. And why to have Israel to invest in a country like Spain? It's a little crazy, isn't it? But we think that when we bring people to space and we show it this new dimension, they understand that we are going all together. We have the same destination. There is no difference between black and white and Arab and Jewish and rich and poor. There is no difference of nationalities. So we are going together. We are all of us in the same planet, and we have the same destination. And I think this is the best way to reach the people and to prepare it for a good collaboration and understanding of the humanity. And this is my message, okay? Look to the stars and discover your humanity. This is the important thing. Again, satellites are okay, but it's not the end. It's not the target. The people is the target. Okay, that's all. Thank you. I will leave the...
Thank you very much, Professor.
Stop sharing.
Sorry, go ahead.
If you have some questions, happy to answer you. If I can.
Well, I don't have a question, but I also have just a comment. Perhaps I'll have later on the question. That is why I just want to comment, Anna, that's why we struck very good relationship, because we share the common values, the values that really...
I know.
Yeah, you know. And I'm really very proud and very honored to have a friend like Anna. Thank you.
When we met, I already understood that I was in front of a real teacher master. So it was my honor, believe me.
Yeah.
Okay, Professor Ella, thank you very much for very, for me, interesting presentation. I think we agree, all of us agree, that if you don't dream, if you don't have aspiration, you are doomed to live very dull one dimension life. I think reaching to the moon, reaching to the stars, going into space, this is the next name of the game. And I'm impressed by the numbers which you brought regarding the growing tendency of students, Israeli students, going to high-tech studies at the universities. This is very positive and encouraging development. You do this project in Spain. What are the chances for you to do the same project in Croatia?
Of course. I will not be here if not the, I told you, and of course the problem is I don't speak Croatian, yeah, but it will need to be in easy English or Spanish.
In English it is. It's
Well,
not a problem at all.
Only to mention that if it wasn't for Corona and these problems with travel, Anna would have been here some time ago, because she has standing invitation both to Zagreb and to Sisak. And definitely on some key points, we consulted her with our project. And anyway, definitely Anna was quite technical with advice and very good advice. And so we are permanently in touch. Yeah.
Very good.
Good. Any questions from the audience? Any questions?
No, I just want to say something to Embassy of North Macedonia, because I am surrounded here with so important people. Thank you to be with us, and really my honor. Thank you very much. And
we are the one.
I do have one question for you,
yes.
Dr. Anna Heller.
Sure.
Since I'm the kind of I have been parachuted to this Zoom meeting, but first of all, thank you very much for your kind presentation. And I'm really pleased to hear that you realized I would say that you put in practice your program. How much of the state support is needed in order to put in practice something similar to this project in Croatia?
Yeah.
I mean,
money. But the end of the thing is money. Yeah, right. I did the calculation. This is the first question of the Spanish people, and the answer is €1 million, no less, no less.
Yeah.
Because there are many things. I mean, again, it's not just to send a satellite; it's to prepare and the laboratory and to build the ground station, because the ground station is the everyday working of the students. They need something every day, you know. So this is fantastic thing for the working of the students, and you have salaries. And you have travels, and so it's no less than €1 million.
Well, can I interrupt just to say experience? We have experience because we work on the satellite, and I precisely share.
Go ahead.
Anna, your view, and that is that satellite is education. It's nice to have satellite around Earth and taking photos and sending beeps, etc. But the greatest value is in educated young people. That's it. So when we approach even our ministries, etc., and say, well, they would say, what is the value of this? What's the return of this? I said, look, it's young people, education. That is investment in education, like teaching maths, like teaching physics. It is like teaching in space technology and imagination, working on imagination and fantasy, realizing fantasy. And it is not expensive. Look, I mean, €1 million, it's nothing.
It's nothing.
Nothing.
I know.
So I would say that, one needs a good will and good intentions to educate children. That's it. Nothing else.
If I may, I'm sorry. I got a question because we are going live also on our Facebook channel. I got a question from Miss Mirela, and I'm going to read it, okay? Dear Dr. Heller, thank you for presenting and sharing the experience. What would you stress as the most important in getting young people interested in similar projects? Thank you.
What is interesting? What?
In similar projects.
Not this project, similar projects. Well, my passion is space, and I think that space has a lot of benefits over other disciplines, because it's multidisciplinary. And I know there is many projects like robotica and things like that. And that's very good, and I approve. It's very good. But the space is special because you touch inside. I mean, it's to open your eyes to another dimension. You are talking about something completely different that include not just discipline of mathematics and much more than this. I think no one is going to compare with a project of space. It could be different, see, not just a satellite, could be something different, but touch the sky. I think this is the message.
I think you're absolutely right, Professor Heller. This is the message. Look up in the sky. Every one of us remember Jules Verne, trip to the moon. Also at that time, people were thinking over and above the surface of the earth. I think teaching young children to dream and to look up to the stars, to space, is part of our future, no doubt about it. By the way, Helios company is going to meet tomorrow in Germany.
Oh, fantastic.
Also,
fantastic.
the German side. And I would, since in Croatia, we don't have that developed space industry.
Good project, a very good project. Fantastic idea.
I don't know whether it's cost effective to bring them to Croatia, but definitely after the corona, and when it is okay to travel again, you are more than welcome to come, because I really hope that this time, this meeting, also representative of the Ministry of Science in Croatia would participate, but apparently none of them came. But nevertheless, I think it's only the beginning of trying to implement the idea of cooperation between Israel and Croatia in the field of space, and especially educating both young generations to work together, because I think I totally agree, space is our future. If there are no more questions, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Bosanac, I give you the time to say your remark. And if you don't have anything to say, which I doubt, I know that always you have something to say.
Well, I can.
Go ahead.
I like talking. Okay, especially creative people.
In Israel, unfortunately, talk is not cheap. Go ahead.
Well, okay. Well, it is really my great pleasure to have Anna here, and to really very revealing talk, and especially in terms of creation. And that is what, as I said, we share this. And why I would say somehow, to me, Israel and connection with Israel is very important. And just simple fact. I remember in my youth, Israel was known for oranges and grapefruit, okay? Now it is, well, 6th in the world in technology. Okay, so, and this is based, and this is due to education system. And that is, and I strongly believe in education, especially young people, and especially what Anna was saying about very young ones. This is where they start getting grasped and do not get pushed towards realizing the dreams, because children dream at the youngest age, but realizing dreams, it's another challenge, and a very, very rewarding challenge. When you dream and you realize it, it's fantastic feeling. So, and that is why I strongly believe and hope that in future, that our future with Israel is more tight cooperation. I wouldn't want to mention the situation here, but anyway, as concerning me, I definitely would push and do everything, in particular that we somehow have more tight cooperation with Israel. Especially, I'm looking forward to the possibility that our young people get involved in the Bereshit 2 project. This is something that I really am looking forward to, if we could achieve this. Thank you very much.
Bless you all, my friends.
Okay.
Okay. This is a very good moment in for 3 more minutes. Professor Bosanach, Professor Heller, dear participants, thank you for having the time. You special thank Professor Heller for the presentation. This is, as I said, the beginning of the cooperation. I'm going to talk to the people of Bereshit 2
Oh, something is wrong.
Yes. Ambassador?
אין לו קליטה כל כך.
Okay.
Perhaps he will.
Yes. People are disconnecting, so I guess something is wrong with Ambassador's mail, with Ambassador's Zoom. He got disconnected.
Okay.
I guess that's it. I
Yeah,
see Ambassador is not online, so probably has some technical problems.
Okay, before we leave, Anna, we keep in touch.
Bye to everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, bye-bye. It was great talk, Anna. Great talk.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.